You're live streaming. You decide to put on some music to keep the vibe up, but you don't know if it's too loud. So you decide to ask chat, and they tell you this. What's up, y'all? I'm AlfredGG, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to balance your audio for your stream. And if this does end up helping you, you might not ever have to ask your chat if something is too loud again, even though you probably still will. To get started, all we need to do is take a look at our audio mixer. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to be assuming that you're using the desktop audio and mic that is pretty much standard for almost every streamer when they first start. I'm not going to be getting into how to separate your audio like your music or Discord calls, because that is a whole subject on its own. If you are interested in a video about separating your audio, please let me know in the comments below or hit me up on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/AlfredGG. Taking a look at our mixer, we're going to just look at one single bar just to keep things simple. When sound comes through the device, we see the bars shoot up and leave little lines at the top. Those are the ones that we're mainly going to focus on because that's the height of our audio. It doesn't necessarily measure how loud you are overall, it just measures the loudest parts of your voice, but it's a pretty good measurement for us to use. Those bars are what we're going to be using for our measurements today. But how are we going to measure? By looking at the little dBs on the bar. Now, if you're like me, you probably got this far by just thinking, man, my voice is the loudest part of my stream, so it should be the tallest bar, right? I mean, I made it this far, so I guess that's kind of good advice. The problem is that every time we introduce a new type of audio, whether it's a new game or a new alert we set up, the only way to see how loud that is, the only way to know how loud that is by taking a recording and listening. We're not going to do that anymore because I'm going to teach you exactly where you should put your sounds so you know while you're on stream. First, let's talk about what I like to call foreground audio. This is mainly for your voice or someone else's voice when you're doing a podcast or an interview. Sometimes this can be used for music if you're really just jamming with your chat. Foreground audio sits between the -16 dB to -12 dB range. This is almost to the top of the bar, which is usually right where the bar changes color. Fun fact about me, I'm colorblind. Your voice is the main part of your stream, and if you're doing something like a podcast, you want the other person's voice to also be the main part of your stream, so that kind of makes sense. In this decibel range, this is where you want your voice to be hitting all the time to make sure that it is heard. If you need help making sure that your mic is hitting the right spot, or you want to take your mic to the next level and make it sound more professional, you can always check out my latest video on how to make any mic sound professional. Next up, we're looking at our secondary audio. This falls between -35 dB to -25 dB. This is where our game sounds go, sometimes our music. It all just depends on what you're streaming. I also like to keep my Discord audio from my friends here as well, mostly closer towards the -25 dB range, just so that they're slightly above the game audio. To give an example of this is what my voice sounds like with music somewhere around the -35 dB range. It's kind of bouncing between -35 and -30, so it's not the end of the world. Next up on the bar, we have the ambience range. This is between -50 to about -35 decibels. This is usually where people like to put their music while streaming because it gives that subtle vibe in the background while you're focused on making content. This is kind of like elevator music level, where it's just enough to kill the silence. So now that I've broken down the bar, where should you put your audio sources exactly? For your alerts, I'd aim to hit around -25 dB. Some alerts you might actually want to be louder to take over your stream. I get that. But -25 dB puts it just above all of the other sounds, and it still allows people to be able to hear you when you're thanking them. For music, it depends on what your focus is at that exact moment. -45 dB is great for an ambience, just enough to kill the silence, whereas -30 dB is a great level for keeping the hype up while you're still being able to be heard. And -20 dB is great whenever you want to stop talking and just dance. For game audio, this really depends on the game. Games with frequent harsh sounds like Apex or other FPS games are typically good to have around the -40 dB to -35 dB range. For games like Stardew, where you're totally not trying to find the mater shorts, -30 dB to -25 dB makes it front and center. For your Discord friends, I personally suggest around -25 to -20 dB. This also depends on how loud you have them set inside of Discord itself. But this keeps them right under your own voice to make sure that people in your stream know who the streamer is. And that's all of it. That should cover most kind of audio sources that you're probably going to run into while streaming. If you have any questions or maybe think about some kind of audio that you would like me to put somewhere in the bar, make sure to let me know in the comments below. And if you like this guide, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more guides to help you improve your streams.